Hey YouTube, it's Dale Calvert with CMGSportsCardInvestments.com. First of all, let me establish that my wife and I have gotten on an airplane, flown all over the country, rented U-Hauls, filled those U-Hauls with Hallmark ornaments, and then drove them back to our warehouse. Some of you know Dawn is one of the largest Hallmark resellers in the United States. And yes, I did go to Kentucky from here in Marietta, bought some sports cards on Facebook Marketplace, but this title is a little bit of a clickbait title, just to be honest with you. But I'm going to share some ideas and concepts, especially for those of you that are in our beta program for CMG Sports Card Investments, our course, the beta course, that will really reinforce some of the concepts that we teach in that course. And I hope the rest of you find this interesting, thought-provoking. The purpose of this channel, really, my focus is to help entrepreneur-minded people realize that there are significant profits to be made in the sports card business if you can apply paint by numbers, specific processes, specific systems that you can follow step by step with and have predictable, profitable results. So let me just share with you, I've got a couple of different topics, so I'm going to be jumping around a little bit, but I hope that you find this information valuable. If you haven't subscribed, real quick, if you haven't went over to cmgsportscardinvestments.com, go check out our website over there. We would appreciate that. And if you click on this members only section right here, again, we have not decided if we're going to roll out this program, this investment program to the public, to this training to the public. But if you click there, you can at least be put on our notification list here, putting in your information. So if and when we decide to open this up and not just work with our beta group, you will be one of the first to know. So back to the Facebook Marketplace ad. I've been looking on Facebook and have had several different communications with different people in the Marietta, Atlanta area, and really haven't been able to find something that makes sense. The biggest problem here, obviously, is the traffic, and if I have to go to the other side of Atlanta and come back, our time is the most valuable asset that we have. I have been able to find a few deals in this area, my surrounding area, and I'm looking all the time. But I knew I was going to Kentucky, and the reason I was going is because my mom was having a big family dinner. She likes to have once every quarter or so, just for all the family. So I wanted to be there for that. And I thought, well, since I'm going, let me see who's advertising in Facebook Marketplace for sports cards in Kentucky. And I found this one ad, and I apologize, I didn't get to it quick enough before it was marked sold and the whole thing was taken down. But it sounded exactly like what I was looking for. Thousands of cards, and well, I'll just show you here what he had done. Real nice guy over in Harrisburg, Kentucky area, Kyle, who's just a barter, buyer, seller, flipper. He's into old bottles and Legos and any type of collectible, and he had these cards. Before I get into the actual story, I do want to say I killed really three birds with one stone. I was able to find a deal on Facebook Marketplace, which I'll show you in a second. But there was also a card show on Saturday in Lexington. So I could go to the card show on Saturday. I could go to the dinner Saturday night. And then I picked up some cards from an alternative grader. I did a lot, and I'll explain this process to you. So stay with me. I warned you I am going to be skipping around a little bit. But I went to the card show in Lexington. I really wasn't looking for anything in particular. Maybe some Ellie cards if I could find it. But really what I wanted to do was just scope out the show. Because when I lived in Kentucky, Central Kentucky, there might be a card show once or twice a year. But this particular show is happening every single month, and I wanted to just go check it out. because if and when we decide to do shows in the future, would this be something a show we would want to participate in? So I was shocked. It was absolutely jam packed. You couldn't hardly walk around in the room. The parking lot was full. I mean, it was booming. But I did pick up these 3 Ellie Deli Cruise cards. And here's something for our Beta Club members. I talk about, buying raw, having them graded, and then reselling. Once you send those cards to be graded, it's going to immediately up the price. And I've had a lot of success doing this on eBay, but the problem is when you buy raw, the card can look beautiful on eBay, the corners could look good, but it's not the same as actually holding that card and looking at it and examining it, which you can in a show. So I was looking for anything Ellie that caught my eye, and these 3 did. The first you can see is the blue sparkle, and you can see recent sales on eBay were for $53.50 and $60 ungraded. And I talked to the young man about this card, and he was asking 60. Bottom line, I ended up buying it for $40 and was very happy with that. It's a beautiful card, absolutely gorgeous. I may keep it, but if I do decide to flip it, it's going in our next PSA order. And you can see a recent sale on eBay here just a few days ago was for $157.50. So I buy it for $40. If it costs me $20 to have it graded, that's $60. It's not going to take anything to be able to double my money with that card because I'd only need to sell it for $120 based upon those numbers. I also got a couple of Mojo Ellie's. You can see this one up here in the corner. Recently sold on eBay for $46, and this one right here sold for $9.99. I got both of them, but from the same gentleman for $20. So very happy about those as well. Those are also going to be graded in our next PSA order. I may hang on to them for a while. I may flip them. I haven't decided yet. So I did go to the Lexington Card Show. I would go back. It was a great show. A lot of people. I didn't spend an enormous amount of time there. There were several people that had dollar boxes, and I didn't even start because I knew if I started, I would be there 3 more hours, and I needed to get home for the family dinner, and I just didn't even look at the dollar box trying to find some deals. I was mainly looking for Ellie and found these 3 cards and very happy with those purchases. Back to my Facebook Marketplace purchase. The ad was written great. The guy did a great job with the ad. He actually had a video and showed some of the cards that he was selling. And what he had done, he'd taken thousands of cards and he pulled out, let me show you here, he pulled out the best ones and he had them in these 800 count boxes. He said all of these are the numbered cards, the parallels, etc. So he went through all the cards and pulled out the ones he felt like were the most valuable and put them in 800 count boxes. So that saves me a lot of processing time right there. Yes, I'm going to go back through and double check and look at everything, but just the fact that he had done that, the fact that he took the time to put a video in his ad, because you deal with a lot of yahoos in Facebook Marketplace and a lot of people that, don't even understand junk wax, and they think I've got a, crinkled up Topps King Griffey Jr. rookie card, so therefore I have a fortune in cards. People overprice their cards terribly on Facebook Marketplace, but you do run across some good people that have an understanding of what the cards are worth and what they're doing, and they understand the game. So bottom line, he had a very well written ad. We communicated back and forth, and the thing that caught my attention, it was primarily basketball and football cards. And that's where our stock is low. And if and when we decide to do shows, we're going to need more basketball and football. So it just made sense to me to at least go take a look. And we ended up buying the 4 albums, 2 big boxes of commons, and then these 4 boxes of where the stars and the rookies and the parallels, etc., have been pulled out. And we got it all for $300, and I was very happy with that purchase and met a really good guy, Kyle, over in Lawrenceburg. So far we've processed this about halfway because I was able to do some of the processing while I was in Kentucky. And so far I've pulled 330 cards from this that sell anywhere from 90 cents to $3. And they will all go in a dollar box. 330 of those if we set up at shows. I have 512 that would go in a quarter box, and they sell anywhere from 50 cents to $1 is the value. They would be quarter box cards. And then I've got 72 cards in this that sell anywhere from $4 to $52. There's quite a bit of money here, and all these cards will be listed on eBay over the next few weeks. Primarily football and basketball, a lot of parallels, and a lot of really good star cards, colored cards. So I am beyond excited. I think when it's all said and done, we invested 300. This is at least a 400% return. And it's not going to happen next month. It's going to take time, over time, but I believe that $300 over time will turn into, at least $1,200, maybe $1,500. But it's going to be a good return, and it's given us inventory that we need if and when we decide to do shows in the future. So I wouldn't have drove from Marietta to Kentucky for just this one deal. I wouldn't. Again, a little clickbait in the title, but I was very, very glad that I found this. So I found this, went to the card show, had a great dinner with my family, got to see my daughters, my grandkids, my parents, everything, my brother, my sister. It's a great, great weekend. But the main reason I wanted to go to Kentucky was I had a 100 card order that I was going to pick up at an alternative grader that I'm using in the state of Kentucky. Now, if you're a PSA maxi and you think PSA and only PSA, and that's where your mind is, don't even watch the rest of this because it's not going to benefit you at all. However, for those of you that are in our beta group, you understand our focus is I'm a collector at heart, period. But my focus is teaching entrepreneur-minded people who've wasted a lot of people, good people, wasted a lot of time chasing different businesses and never becoming profitable. And my focus is to really try to help entrepreneur-minded people with the right processes and systems that they can implement locally and create consistent profits. And one of the concepts that we teach is alternative grading, where some cards it just doesn't make sense to try to send them to PSA. And I'll show you what we did, some of the cards we picked up at this alternative grader. Again, I picked up 100 cards, and most of them I didn't think they would gem with PSA, but even if they did, most don't make sense to try to even send to PSA because the profits are not there. But here's just some of them that we sent. We've got all our Kentucky players that were drafted in the NBA draft here last week. We got Dillingham and Justin Edwards. There's another Dilly card, and Jeff Shepard, number 3 pick in the draft. I wanted to have some of those ready because I think over the summer league, and I think some of these guys are going to turn heads, and I think there can be a real buzz for their cards. So I just wanted to have some graded. And then I've got Julius Peppers, who's getting ready to go into the Football Hall of Fame this summer, here in a month or two. And I think there'll be a spurt in his cards for sure. So I wanted to have some of his cards graded. They will be in our eBay store probably within the next 24 hours or so. And then this is what I really wanted to share with you. These are all Fleer Glossies. The Fleer Glossy, not the normal Fleer, but the Fleer Glossy that came in the tin. They're worth a little bit more than the regular Fleer cards, and especially when you use an alternative grader. So you can see here, we have Fernando Valenzuela, Canseco, that's Ryan Sandberg, that's a Tom Seaver card when he was with Boston, and of course Cal Ripken there. And I just want to give you a quick example, especially those of you again that are understand what we when we break sets, and we take buy a complete sealed factory set, break it up, parcel it out, and sell it, which is one of the systems you guys know that are part of the beta group that we teach. So these cards come in these Fleer factory sets. So our buy price for a Fleer factory sealed set, I want to make sure it's sealed, that they haven't gone through it and checked out the Bo Jackson and the Barry Bonds for grading and done all that, or replaced it with a terrible off-centered card. I want to make sure that it's always factory sealed, and our buy price is $50 delivered, 50 or less, delivered to your door, or if you're at a show and you can pick up these sets, and you can, for $50 or less, that's our buy price. That's our indicator. We will buy these sets at that price right now, currently, today, as of today's date. That's our current buy price on these sets. And you can see you can pick these up still, which is kind of surprising, but there's a lot in the market, a lot more than we initially thought. But this one just sold on eBay back in April, $36 plus 11 shipping and handling, $11.70. So that's under our $50. This one sold June 18th, $29.67 with $19 shipping. That's under our $50 buy price. And this one sold for $40 plus $8.98. So that's $48.98, less than our $50 buy price. So when you get these cards, again, they're glossy. They're worth more than the normal Fleer. But there's a big problem. There's numerous stars and rookies in this. Some phenomenal stars and rookie cards. Phenomenal. That sell really well if you can get them to mint, if you can find a 10. Unfortunately, these cards are very hard to get to mint, to gem, to get to a 10. Very difficult. The centering's off, top to bottom, left to right, many times, and they're just hard to get to mint. But if you find one, and again, you've got Bonds and Barry Larkin, the three people you see here, Barry Bonds, Larkin, Bo Jackson, the Nolan Ryan card, the Don Mattingly card. It's full of Hall of Famers and rookies. This is a great set. It's full of Hall of Famers and rookies. And what we normally do when we get these 10s is we will go through, and we've got 30 players that we know that if that card mints, it's going to be at least $100, sometimes $300, $400, even $500 if that card comes back at 10. That's what we're going to be able to get for it. Or in some cases, like with this Barry Larkin, if we can go to a show and Barry's signing for $30, and I can take a 10 and have him sign it, or have any card sign it, that's going to immediately bump up the price. And you can see what some of these cards will sell for This Barry Larkin is autographed, 229. The Bonds card, 479. These are recent sales. The Bo Jackson card, 350. There's some phenomenal cards in this. The challenge is, if it doesn't gem, if it's not a 10, it's not worth much. And you can see this is a PSA 8 sold for of Cal Ripken, sold for $11.99. You know, that card in a 10 would be in the $200 range, but an 8's $11.99. You can buy the card raw for $2.42. You can see right here, just recently sold on eBay. So it's a real difficult situation. You pay $50, you buy the sealed factory set. One card in that set of a Hall of Famer or a rookie that comes back at 10 will pay for the entire set. It's kind of a no-brainer. But also, getting these cards, finding 10s from this set, cards that would gem, is very difficult. So you only want to pick out maybe your 5 very best cream of the crop cards and send them to PSA and cross your fingers and hoping one comes back at 10. Because if it comes back an 8 or a 9, you're going to lose money. As you can see, this Ripken sold for $11.99. So when you get that factory case, the Fleer glossy factory case, here's what we do. We pick out the very best 5 cards that we really feel like have a chance to get to 10, and we send them for grading. The rest of them, and there's some great players, like I mentioned, Nolan Ryan and Eric Davis. I mean, there's unbelievably great cards in this set. Great cards. Hall of Famers, rookie cards. But raw, even the glossy, this is the glossy Cal Ripken, $2.52, free shipping. They're not making a nickel on that. You know, by the time they pay shipping, their eBay fees, there's no money in it. But these are great Hall of Fame players, so what do? And again, I'll give you another example. Jose Canseco, you know, PSA 10 is probably in the $50 to $60, $70 range. Excuse me. PSA 8, you're losing money. You pay $20 to have the card graded. You're losing money. You can buy it raw for 99 cents. You know, just buy it raw for 99 cents. Here's another example. You can buy right now Ryan Sandberg for $1.79 raw. A PSA 8 just sold for $8.50, $8.49. Person lost money. They spent $20 to have it graded, and it sells for $8.49. They're losing money. So it's a great set. It's a great set. But what do you do with these other players? So what we've done, and we'll just go back here, is we send them to an alternative grader, and we have one in Kentucky that we're working with. And you can see these came back 8.5, 8.5, 7.5. That's a 6.5, and I can't see what Seaver. I think he was an 8 as well. We knew they wouldn't be 10s because, again, the centering left to right, top to bottom on these, they're difficult. They're very hard. So what we do is we can take this Cal Ripken that's been graded, and I could just sell it raw for a couple bucks. But when we grade it and we use an alternative grader where we can have, because of deals that we can get this done, and that this alternative grader offers, where you can get that card, if you do 100, you get it done for $6 a card. All right, now I've got $6 in that card. If I can sell it for 12, or I'll probably put it on eBay at 12 or best offer, and let's say I take 11 for it. Okay, $11. It cost me 6 to grade it. Now my profit is $5. If I'd sold it raw, I would have made a couple dollars. I'm doubling my profit by using an alternative grader on all these cards, at least doubling our profit. Conseco, pay $6 to have it graded, sell it for 10. I got $4 profit there. If I'd sold it for 99 cents, basically I'm losing money. And again, these are just few examples, but you've got Nolan Ryan and Don Mattingly and a lot of great cards that no, you can't pay $20 to have it graded, but you could pay $6. And quite frankly, the grader we use is, in my opinion, tougher than PSA. They are hard. They are hardcore graders, and they don't cut any card any slack. Very, very, very hardcore graders. So those of you that are part of our beta program, and you've heard me talk about alternative grading, and if you're not, this is something that I think can really make the difference in running a profitable business versus, just relying on PSA all the time. See, I couldn't send most of the cards to PSA, but we let the alternative grader, I think he graded about 30 or 40 Fleer Glossy, which are highly desirable cards for a person's personal collection. A lot of people would love to have a Fleer Glossy Cal Ripken if Cal's in their PC, because the Fleer Glossy only came in those 10s, and you don't see a lot of them. So being able to have a slabbed card of the person you collect in your personal collection means a lot to people. And would you rather buy a raw card for 2 or a slab card for 12 or 15? Most would rather have the slab card for 12 to 15. So I love the fact too that collectors are primarily buying these cards from us. So if you're a dealer, if you're flipping cards, if you want to get into this, I think having the alternative grading era in your quiver, part of your game plan, part of your process, makes sense. We did an article or video on this. You can go check it out. It's at cmgsportscardinvestments.com/sportscard-grading. And I think that will maybe give you even a clearer perspective on this. There's a lot of cards out there that collectors would love to have in their collection that you can sell and still be profitable using alternative grading that you would never been profitable with PSA. These, $10 to $20 cards. I hope that video will help you. I hope you'll go check that out. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you taking the time. If this type of information is valuable to you, please subscribe to this channel. I'm realizing to do what we want to do down the road, this YouTube is going to be important, because we're getting a lot of great feedback just from the few videos that we've done, and people are appreciating it. They're signing up every day for the notification list if and when we decide to roll out the course to the masses. So I'm excited about a lot of stuff that's happening. I hope that's giving you some things to think about. We appreciate you. Have a great day. Again, my name's Dale Calvert, CMG Sports Card Investments. Go check us out. Subscribe, like, do whatever you're supposed to do here on YouTube. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Have a great day.